So you actually like this?
Yeah, look, we had it all set up by Chuck Older, too. The action's sick now. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Wow, that clear coat held up.
And there's a system.
Wow. This is your life. I made this in 1990. This is 89. Did it say 89? Is there a date on it?
I think I covered it with this picture on the back, but I'm not sure. No,
I think,
yeah, there's probably maybe 88. I had it in high school, so I graduated high school 88.
all right, so 88, 89.
You packed up the point and shoot, didn't you?
It's in there. You can grab it.
So this is a little Gurgle and Guts inspired, basically?
Well, Gurgle and Guts came
After?
7 years later.
Right on.
The
Second guitar you ever made.
ever really dug into. But when I say made, I always need to clarify. I like to say I tattoo guitars because Steph got this guitar. I mean, Sam Goody.
Yeah, I think it was a used guitar, but it was a Warmouth body, and
And it was set up the way you wanted. And so basically, it just started with a body that had all the pockets and everything in place. And I just went nuts on the body. And then you had someone set it up. Who'd you have, that guy in Woodman set it up?
yeah, there was someone, Joe Domjam set them up for us.
The one thing, this is the one I did for Steve Vai. And the one thing I always liked about this one and this one is that the mushiness of all the imagery is very similar in the way that I just try to like jam everything into the silhouette of the guitar shape. Did you ever see this one? I made that in 1991.
Oh, wow.
So this guitar I made in a class. I took a class at School of Visual Arts, and the class was do whatever you want. And it was really just to develop your own artistic vision. We were second year of school. And I started playing with guitars because of the gem guitar in the Crazy from the Heat video by it was Steve Vai was playing it, which is weird because Steve Vai came back into my life later on. And he was playing a guitar made by Gem Guitars in Long Island. And it was the David Lee Roth band. Anyway, so I saw that guitar and I started bandsawing flaming guitars, just sketching up. And then I went to Sam Goody. This is the Sammy. You could just barely see it says Sammy on there. This is a Sam Goody guitar. It was like $75. And I went home and I made this body out of a chunk of poplar that my dad had gotten me. And I had no idea about paint, so I painted it with like Rust-Oleum. And I said, you know what, this is good as it is. I brought it to that class. I got a lot of accolades. And then I said, okay, this is good enough. I'm going to move to another version of this. And then I ended up doing this for you, and I really upgraded my paint game. This is all lacquer automobile paint. I learned a lot about airbrushing, and I learned that I never want to do it again. And, yeah. But then from this one, I ended up doing that flaming one that it did for ESP. Because they had seen these two, and then they like, we want to do a special flaming guitar. Let's see some of your designs.
Sure, it's yep.
This guitar is the Screaming Skull I made for ESP. They wanted to make it as like a sales thing, not necessarily as a... it wasn't made for an artist. Around the same time I did the George Lynch one, which I could find online as well. But
when I started my new project, when Göden, I knew I needed to do something cool with that. So we did a bass series because I started playing bass as time went on. And Jimmy started with this one right here.
I completely forgot that this started out as like this black, weird shaped guitar. Like, it wasn't even shaped like this.
Yeah, I changed all the hardware and brought it all black. Changed all the and even on the tuners, I had ultralights coming.
You're fucking insane, dude.
Yeah, so I went all the way with it.
I was like, why does it look so different? And you polished this, or did I do that?
You did that, but I think we're going to go black knobs anyway.
Yeah.
This was my favorite bass out of all my basses, especially because it's a beautiful neck through. As you can see, look at the wood on this. This is a gorgeous instrument. And I love it.
And I didn't want to fuck with it too much.
And we decided to, make it a brother-sister. So we, went for a little bit of a different shape. Same shape, actually. All the guitars for the Göden series, even the ones that Jimmy Mazzatelli made, the Black Beauties, they all have that long horn kind of thing with some kind of proprietary headstock. So Mrs. Diresta made these, and then Jimmy Maz made the other ones.
So who has seen this guitar? Has anybody of note played or touched or seen this, like in your travels? In 30 years, 32 years ago I made that.
32 years ago, just about everyone we played with or opened up for, guys in Sepultura, everyone's always... It's kind of like a little past and present. So these guitars were original ones that Jimmy made for me. I guess what would we say? It was about 1988?
89.
89.
I was still in art school and you were still in high school.
Yeah, I was still in high school. 1988, I graduated high school. Jimmy made these for me. I had a group that was called Winter, and this was my main acts. And this year, they just reissued the 30-year anniversary edition, which has a booklet with all shows and everything we played, all Squatter Rock shows.
These are all like your
all the
scenes?
original, all the flyers. And believe it or not, he drew this was like a flyer for us at some squat show in New York. We ended up making it like one of our T-shirt designs. But it literally has like all these shows at CBGBs and hardcore punk shows, in Avenue A in New York City with all the punk groups and shit.
171?
Looks like this one. This one
220 East 4th Street.
East 4th Street, I think this one is at the Pyramid Club, Avenue A.
Oh, shit.
So anyway, we're in New York City, Group M. We played a lot on Long Island as well, too. Another one, Avenue A. I played the Pyramid a lot.
Did you ever play the gas station?
I don't think we played the gas station. These were this was the original album, and this was a demo tape reissue. So they did a really nice reissue. They did everything on
Serpents of the Wars, man. Has that camera still roll?
Yeah. We did everything on clear vinyl.
Oh, shit.
With our own labels for both sides.
Holy shit, dude. That was a lot.
And there was actually a lot of artwork for, when we started out. And you can see all the artworks by Veronica Cross. She was a friend of ours. She was an artist in New York. And it has everything in there. This is about every piece of memorabilia possible on every show we played, even up to current in Holland with Roadburn. So it's interesting, me and Jimmy know each other since the 80s, right? And this was like, when this came out, it kind of came and went, and then 20 years later, it's kind of like rediscovered and became a little bit of a cult classic.
What was it? What was the name before this? I remember the name. Something Toxic or
Thorn.
Thorn. No, but before Thorn, you had
before Winter was called Meltdown.
Meltdown.
It was like a
Did I just say
group.
Meltdown? What did I say?
Meltdown. You're close.
What is it?
It was Meltdown.
Well, what did I say? Did I say Meltdown or Hazard or something?
It was like it had like a. Believe it or not, I think you did the logo for that too. It was
Like a biohazard
like a nuclear thing with like a factory that would have like smoke coming out of it.
Meltdown.
Meltdown. It was Meltdown.
Do you guys have any recordings from them?
I have them. We recorded them at Andy Polina's studio.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So it was Winter. It was Meltdown, Winter, and then another group, Thorn, with the guys from Nausea in New York City.
Thorn, and whatever happened with Thorn? This is the only thing that's kind of popping off right now?
The Thorn album came out. It was doing really well, and then my father had brain cancer, so we were getting ready to go on tour, so I had to move home and help my family out, and kind of ended my music career right there. And then after that, I took like a 15-year break and went back to school and switched my career and felt like I had my chance at music.
Right.
And I put 2 great records out. And Thorn record was recorded at Electric Ladyland Studios with John Travis. Shit. Yeah, it was a really well-made record with Roy Mayorga and John Jesse from Nausea, legendary punk group. Wow. And then it all came to an end because family gets sick. You got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely.
Put music aside, and then this record kind of sat dormant for the Winter album. Sat dormant, and then a couple of people like the guys at Pantera and Phil from Pantera loved it, and a lot of other people started talking about it and had like a little bit of a rebirth. And then recently we just reissued it on Smart Records in Finland. And Smart Records, and this was with these guitars, obviously we spoke. This is from this era, from the Winter. So the last 5 years I've been working on my own project, which was Göden, which is a continuation of what Winter would have been kind of from my vision, but a little bit of a story of the light and the dark, and has a Vas Callis from Hansel and Gretel, some of the guys from the drummer from Christian Death, and a couple of other really great players.
Mm-hmm.
And I started a new project, and that was called Göden. Göden is actually a song on the Winter album.
Oh, right on.
So, reissued it, and Ava Petrick, artist in Vienna, from Vienna, did all the artwork. These are all her photos and churches.
That's in St. John, right?
No, this is not the St. John. This is Stephan's Cathedral. I think it's in Vienna. And Ava did all the artwork for this record. Misprint's supposed to be 12 by 24, but it's a full booklet that goes along with the story. There's there's manifestations, so there's like spoken word between each song that tells you the story. That's Tony Panisi, Prophet of God, he's the light, and then there's Vas Kala, she's the darkness, and she sings on all the songs. That's Tony, Prophet of God, that's his symbol, kind of like a superhero kind of symbol, where everyone has their own symbol that represents them. That's me. I'm Space Winds, that's my symbol, front cover, this is my project. Las Callis. So we did all the photo shoots in St. John Divine, New York City, and I was thinking, since it's kind of a continuation, 30-year anniversary, I said, let me get in touch with Jimmy. I said, I have to have something kind of cool. I'd been playing bass more than playing guitar.
It was funny, I was really surprised when you called me and you didn't want shelves.
You also helped me with shelves in my apartment too. So
Can you make me shelves?
Can you help me? I don't know how to do this shit. So so Jimmy knew I was doing a record. He was nice enough to put some time aside for me.
COVID screwed up our schedule.
COVID made things a little complicated, and we also did clear vinyl with all these too. So each member has their own side on the record, 4 sides. So there's artwork on all of them.
And how's the Göden project going? I mean, I know COVID screwed up your scheduling, but are you still going to go on tour eventually?
I think what happened, it's kind of interesting. It came out May 8th, and then right in dead center of COVID.
Yeah.
And I guess everyone was home, kind of bored, buying a record's like cheap entertainment if you can't go to a show or do anything. So people are digging it, and I think we've been offered a couple of really nice shows.
Oh,
so we're going to see what happens.
In America or Europe or everywhere?
Europe, one show in Europe. That's a really nice festival, and another one that's right here in the U.S.
Awesome.
So we'll be specific. We're not really touring groups for the recording project. I recorded, engineered, produced, and wrote all the music and arranged it, and then everyone else kind of contributed to it and helped make it a great record. But I'm really proud of the instruments, because all my friends, everyone who's on this record is one of my friends or someone I know intrinsically in my life, and they have some kind of history with them. And when they heard the project and they knew what I was doing, everyone kind of donated some time and helped out. Obviously, beautiful instruments. Once again, as you can see, 30 years later, we have something gorgeous things, as well as Jimmy Mazzatelli, another one of our friends from our neighborhood. He's also a woodworker. And so I'm going to show these off a little bit. So we started out, Jimmy made a video for this. Obviously, it's woodwork. It's metalwork. The metalwork was very intense. This is quite a project to do these. I don't know how you do this. You're insane. And then
this one, this is a thumb bass.
This is a Warwick thumb, and I always loved this bass. It has amazing action.
And you wanted something that was sort of a sister version of this, a similar kind of grouping. And I said, let's come up with some metal around the edge and mimic the actual profile of that. And then try to bring in some sort of, Geiger-inspired imagery here with like the skin, metal skin.
Yeah, we went for like a nature in the machine kind of thing. So if you really look at this one, you can see there's actually, from the original drawings, it's supposed to be like a rib cage.
Yeah, poking through,
and that's nature, that's the wood. And then we have like the
industry.
Like the metal is kind of like the machine kind of taking over nature. And I kind of went with even the guitars that Maz made. We all did this like kind of moon. It's comfortable, helps weighs the instrument because it has nice long horns. So. Can't really hear this guy so much, but yeah, they sound great. I mean, if you look at these, Chuck Alder set them up. I want some interviews. These things are just, the action is like crazy low on them. But yeah, I don't know.
Are we still rolling it?
Proud of these. I'm really grateful that Jimmy spent time doing this. He's very busy, and
Well, you've been like for lack of a better term, you've been a patron of mine for a long time. I mean, it's not like you've given me tons of money, but you've given me the opportunity to just be creative. I remember when you gave me this, you just said, "Do whatever the fuck you want, just have fun with it."
yeah.
You said, "All I want is this skull, and I want it to look like it's having a nightmare," basically. And I remember drawing this drawing. I drew this in a big sketchbook that Aviva's dad gave me, and I had the sketchbook, and I only drew cool things in it. Like I wanted to like make sure this book had like precious objects, and this was one of the first things I drew in the book, and I was really proud. I was like, okay, I didn't waste a page. I remember having all these stupid artistic feelings about like not wanting to waste a page in the book, but I drew that in it, and I was happy. And you liked it right away. I don't think I altered it really anything from my original sketch.
Actually, there was one more sketch before it, which I saved that you're gonna throw in the garbage can. I took it out. It ended up being the inside of my pedal board, so I flipped my pedal board up. I actually have the original drawings from this, and there I saved all the scrap papers. I'm the junk collector of the group. I hold everything.
That's cool.
I have all the original flyers like that were in here.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of don't get rid of anything, even your comic books that you made back in the
Oh
day.
yeah, my this whole fucking
So,
no hero shit. And so the same opportunity with this came along. You wanted to transform this base from whatever it was. It was like a black. Was it the same shape?
Actually, it's a Warwick base. We chose to use 2 Warwick bases.
And you just said transform it, and you gave me the license to just do whatever I really wanted. You know, obviously, I wanted you to like it, so I sent some drawings across. And the idea of doing this like peel away metal thing, you like go with
I
it.
guess it was, it's good to finally catch up with you.
Yeah, man.
We
Thanks.
spoke a lot on the phone during the COVID thing because we couldn't actually meet up, but
Yeah.
you were here in your laboratory anyway, so.
So what's next for you? What's the next instrument on your horizon?
I think I'm gonna take a little break from the instruments because between you making me 2 basses and Jimmy making me 2 guitars,
Yeah.
I just want to the record's doing well, the Göden record. Just play out with them.
Right.
You know, I'd like to
Give it some time to breathe.
Yeah, give it a little time to breathe. Let's see what people say if they can digest the album. It's a double album, it's just a lot of material.
Good stuff.
That's really about it. Just psyched to have these beautiful instruments and to have been able to hold on to some of the past as well.
Well, let's do this interview again in 30 years and see where we're at.
Right
Thanks,
on.
brother.
Can't wait.
Yeah, man, it's fucking 30 years.